Welcome back to our daily news update, bringing you the latest headlines from around the world. Now let's begin. Ancient computers, too few pilots and air traffic controller shortages. U.S. air travel could be a rough ride this summer. The U.S. aviation system is set for a record-breaking summer, with the Transportation Security Administration already reporting passenger volumes greater than pre-pandemic levels during the Memorial Day weekend. That holiday weekend was uneventful, but experts are concerned that things might not go smoothly all summer for a system that has seen many meltdowns in the past year and appears to be prone to more. We expect the summer travel season to be off the charts when it comes to demand, says Jeff Freeman, president of the U.S. Travel Association. That's great for the travel industry. But there's no doubt that, as a country, we have underinvested in the aviation system for far too long. This type of demand will be an incredible stress test for it. President Biden announced in early May that he is pushing to bolster passenger protection and compensation for delays or cancellations, after the Department of Transportation saw airline passenger complaints rise 55% in 2022. There are also mounting requests to more aggressively and comprehensively address the system's bottlenecks, including obsolete technology and staffing issues. The FAA has acknowledged that it can't handle this level of demand. That's why they've asked the airlines to reduce capacity in some areas, says Freeman. They know that the investment in air traffic control, technology, and individuals has been below the level it needs to be, and now we're paying the price for that. While the recent surge in air traffic for Memorial Day was handled smoothly, the next big challenge will be the days around the June 19th Juneteenth holiday. One of the most pressing issues is a shortage of air traffic controllers, who handle the crucial task of guiding aircraft between and around airports, with a shortfall of about 3,000, according to Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. As a result, the FAA asked airlines to reduce summer flights in the New York metropolitan area, where a key radar facility is only 54% staffed. Chronically low staffing has been a problem for a while, says Paul Rinaldi, a former air traffic controller and vice president of the Global Air Traffic Controller Alliance. We stopped training during COVID, and a lot of people retired. This does have a negative impact on the volume of traffic. The agency's target is to hire 1,500 new controllers by the end of the year. I applaud them for actually hiring, Rinaldi says, though he points out that the number falls short of the FAA's annual limit of 1,800 new hires. The plan is to hire in such numbers in 2024, bringing the total for the next 2 years to 3,300. Hiring air traffic controllers is a laborious process that requires months of training and then up to 3 years of on-the-job experience before certification, a path that many applicants do not complete, according to Rinaldi. And then there's the issue of age. In the U.S., air traffic controllers are required to retire at the age of 56, and the FAA won't hire anyone older than age 31, because they want candidates to have at least a 25-year career path. We have 1,200 fewer air traffic controllers today than we had 10 years ago, says Freeman. That's not going to cut it. So we have to make an investment in people. The FAA's problems don't end at air traffic control. In January, a system outage brought domestic aviation to a standstill, causing thousands of cancellations and delays. The affected system, which was set up in 1993, is called Notice to Air Missions, NOTAM. It's used by pilots to become aware of issues that can affect the safety of a flight. A damaged file prevented it from working and there was no available backup. The FAA deserves to have more robust, more contemporary technology infrastructure, says Henry Hartevelt, an aviation analyst at Atmosphere Research. Many systems date back several decades. Not many of us have a 40-year-old computer at home right now, and it's frightening that some of the technology systems that the FAA may be relying on potentially goes back that much. Could something like this happen again? When asked about what steps the agency has taken to prevent that, the FAA directed CNN to a written testimony by acting FAA Administrator Billy Nolan to the Senate, from February 2023. We are working to face the challenges in maintaining our systems, while keeping pace with new and emerging technologies and entrants, he said, adding that modernization work on NOTAM is in progress and should be completed by mid-2025. the FAA is also working on a multi-billion-dollar program to overhaul its entire technology, called NextGen, which is expected to be fully deployed by 2030. However, the deciding factor in this arena will be funding. The debt ceiling negotiations in the US are going to cap spending in most departments, and the FAA is perennially underfunded, says Hartevelt. Not only does the FAA rarely get what it asks for in its budget, but one big problem is that part of the federal taxes that passengers pay on their airline tickets, which are intended to help fund the FAA, get siphoned to other projects, in other departments. The FAA will need to work with Congress to find ways to keep all of that money, or at least more than they are getting right now. According to a report by consulting firm Oliver Wyman, there is a shortfall of around 17,000 pilots in North America, which will widen to 24,000 by 2026. One-way airlines have been trying to offset this by operating fewer flights using larger aircraft. The regional airlines are operating far fewer of their 50-seat aircraft and focusing more on the 70 to 75-seat ones, says Hartevelt. And in a way that's good because it reduces the number of pilots needed, but at the same time you have other airlines which have thousands of new aircraft on order for delivery over the next 6 to 8 years. However, he adds, the industry has made a lot of progress in hiring pilots, flight attendants, mechanics and other workers in recent months. The most critical group are the pilots, because there was a severe shortage last year. Airlines in the US have hired more than 10,000 pilots collectively, he says, adding that there is also a discussion on whether the retirement age for pilots should be raised from the current 65 to as much as 67. Younger pilots don't like the idea, because it obviously delays their ability to advance. Airlines see it as a temporary fix, it lets their pilots work longer, but these are also the pilots that are at the top end of the wage scale, so they're the most expensive pilots for the airlines to have. Not everyone agrees that there is even a pilot shortage. Jason Ambrosi, who leads the Airline Pilots Association, ALPA, the world's largest airline pilot union, said in a written statement to the Senate in March that there are more than enough pilots to meet U.S. airline hiring demand and that airline pilot growth has increased each year since the pandemic. He added that training capacity has been the dominant pilot-related constraint on air travel, and that the displacement of pilots by carriers to cut costs has created considerable attrition and a significant training backlog. Perhaps the most critical factor in whether or not travel chaos will occur is outside of anyone's control. The summer travel season will play out as well as Mother Nature allows it to play out, says Hartevelt. Weather accounts for at least 2/3 of the delays and cancellations, sometimes more. If we have fewer storms this summer, then the airlines will operate better. However, if the storms are more frequent, or more intense, or they last longer, or even any combination of that, then we're obviously going to see problems. The question is not how bad the problems will be, but how well the airlines will be able to recover. All eyes are on Southwest, which this past December was unable to manage a bad winter storm and suffered an operational meltdown that left 1,600 flights canceled and 2 million passengers stranded. The challenge for some airlines, most notably Southwest, is whether they will have the technology systems in place to help them manage their operations when disruptions occur, says Hartevelt. Southwest has detailed an action plan to prevent similar incidents in the future, which includes an investment of $1.3 billion in technological upgrades. However, it might take some time before all of these are deployed. What really concerns me, Hartevelt adds, is that with so many flights now being booked full, airlines have very little wiggle room to help people who are stranded when delays or cancellations occur, even when things are working well. Subscribe to my YouTube news channel now, providing accurate and reliable information on the latest hot events. Join the community for exchanging opinions and learning from each other. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to never miss out on the latest videos. Let's explore the world of information together.